Welcome to We're Talking Bears, the show where uncle, nephew, and son bring you the latest in the Bears experience. I'm Uncle.
I'm son.
And again, where the heck is nephew?
I don't know, man. He must have fell down a bottomless pit or something. I don't know what happened.
I think he was standing behind the Bears offensive line and
He is pretty little, man. He can't take hits like that. That's for
can't
sure.
take hits like that.
It's like that.
Hey,
So we'll check the IR for him. See if he comes off the injury report next week.
I'm telling you. Hey, I'm looking at this, and you know what? It's tough being in Chicago and being a Bears fan because we win and we complain. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated hearing all the complaints in media. We win, but it wasn't win enough. We win against a decent team, a respectable team, a good quarterback. It wasn't a win enough. I'm tired. How you feeling?
This is what happens when you got a long history of mediocrity. Even if we win a few, we're just a spoiler game. Even when we're good, until we get to the playoffs and we make some noise, until they see us in NFC championship or two, we're not going to get that respect. We got to earn that. Respect's not just given out. So honestly, I'm cool with that. I'm used to being an underdog. I've been that my whole life, so that don't bother me none.
Man. Well, there's some areas where our Bears are not the underdog, and let's take a few peeks at those areas. First of all, in the league, we are number 4 in interceptions. We've got 5 picks in the first 4 weeks, and that puts us 4th, only behind the Packers, the Vikings, and the Saints. Now, the scary thing is that's almost all NFC North, right? The Lions are right behind us at 6. So we got 1, 2, 4, and 6 as far as taking the ball away in the pass game in the NFC North. And that is got to be scary for other teams that look to play against us.
Yeah.
Secondly, as far as defense, as far as passing defense, do you know how many passing touchdowns we've given up in the first 4 weeks?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me see. I don't think we gave up any to the Colts. I think they scored their touchdowns on the ground. Stafford didn't throw any. None? 1 maybe?
2. We are tied for second in the NFL with the Jets as far as giving up passing TDs. Now, sadly, for some reason, our run defense is not what it used to be. It's not. We've given up 5 touchdowns on the ground in the run game. So, but honestly, it's a passing league. I'd rather be tougher against the pass than the run, although it's important not to get gashed. And unfortunately, on some of those plays, we did get gashed in the run against the Rams. But in general, our defense this year, their worst outing was against the Colts, giving up 21 points. That was the worst outing. The Rams, we gave up 1 touchdown to. The rest is all field goals, which means a lot of stops, a lot of bend but don't break. Mm-hmm. I'm just getting concerned that there's so much bending. How are you feeling about the defense as a whole?
Honestly, defense don't worry me. They've already played like 6 games worth of football at this point. It's going to worry me later in the season when they get worn down. If we're even in the conversation for the playoffs, this is a stacked division, so it's going to be tough just to get in the playoffs. If we can get there, that's really where we got to kind of look and see, is this something that is going to be, a playoff defense, or is this just a regular season defense? That's really where my head is at when it comes to defense. I think we got talent everywhere. Brisker went off this game. Kyler Gordon went off last game. Jalen Johnson went off the game before that. So, we got guys everywhere. Sweat can go off. Gervon Dexter has been a monster. He's on pace for like 15 sacks.
Yeah, from the interior, that's insane.
Absolute bananas. So Gervon Dexter is turning into an absolute freaking beast. I like to see him be more consistent down to down, but overall, this is great for his second year. Then on the other side, Tyreek Stevenson, he's holding his own. He's learning. I think Jalen is being a really good influence on the other side, teaching really the right way to play corner. Because, not that there's necessarily a wrong way to be a good corner, but Jalen is just very fundamentally sound. He's not the most athletic guy. He's got good athleticism, good length. and that really helps him. Overall, I think the defense is solid, man. Like it doesn't get much better than what we have.
Yeah, I'm going to say I think we have a playoff defense as long as we're healthy when we hit the playoffs. You're right. Do we get there? I'm concerned about this game upcoming against the Panthers. As the same with the Colts, we're not necessarily beating the teams we're supposed to beat, right?
Yeah.
So it's very flip a coiny, and I think that hopefully part of that was resolved this week. I don't know if you heard, but there was a big meeting in Hallis Hall between the team captains, Flus and Shane Waldron, and there were some issues brought up. It's reported that this meeting had to occur. First of all, it shouldn't have had to occur, but clearly there was some bad play called and some questionable behavior on that. And I think, though, that there were some good responses. One thing I loved was seeing, the return of the refrigerator as fullback.
Yeah.
This time using a 300 plus pound center as the fullback, blowing up and opening a massive hole for Roshan Johnson, and just so he could dive on his back into the end zone, and then repeating it on a trying to get a first on a short yardage play. But wake up! This is smart. Let's be smart. We're the Bears. Let's be tough. Let's establish toughness, intelligence, and work inside our character. What do you think about both the fact that they did get together, had a meeting, and it made a difference in the next game? Also, the fact that it was required. What are your thoughts?
I don't like that it was required. Because I love that Mercedes Lewis brings that kind of leadership. I love that we have that on our roster. I love that we have that kind of like maturity and intelligence and, like I said, leadership from guys like that, from the consummate veteran. He's been playing in the NFL since I was in high school, which is crazy to think about, right? So man, the dude just knows what a team needs to do. He's been on bad teams, he's been on good teams, he's been on winning teams, he's been on the Bears. So yeah, I like that that's available to us. Don't like that we needed it in week 3.
Yeah, that's an issue.
That's concerning. Like, yeah, teams need to grow together and go through stuff. You got to go into battle with your boys in order to really learn what you need to do. But man, if this was like week 8 and we're hitting a bye week and he's like, yeah, let's have like a captain's meeting and talk to the coaches over the bye week, and we're like, yeah, let's iron out these last few issues so we can make a playoff push. Cool. But this was like he was kind of hitting the panic button. That's what that means when a player has to intercede and take on a role that should be the head coach's job. That's concerning. That, I'm not gonna lie, that's just that's not something that normally happens. That's not something that is something that is a hallmark of successful organizations, of successful coaches.
Agreed. I think that's huge. At the same time, a win's a win, and this was definitely a win. And having that level of leadership that can't be denied from our captains is enormous.
Yeah.
And no matter who was the voice in the back that said, hey, what's up? The captains took it. They're like, hey, we're team leaders. We're chosen team leaders. We represent our team. We're the guys out there getting hit. Let's stop doing stupid stuff. Let's stop taking points off the board. Because, we lost to the Colts for doing stupid stuff. We'd be 3-1. Who knew that, we at 3-1, we would have been the number 2 team in the division, right? But that we've been tied for second. So, that's not what happened, right? And the pack could have been on the bottom. We can't go back and fix that, but we can fix it in the future. And you can't lose 2 games that way. You can't lose a game purely to play calling. And I say, because we were in that game. We've been in every game. We were in that game. You don't make the bonehead play calls 4 times in a row inside the 5 and we win. Because we should have gone up by 7 and we came away with nothing. You can't do that, and especially when you're in tight games. What do you think about the concept that, Caleb, we're winning when Caleb does less? He had buck 57 in this win. When he had his big 300-yard game, we lost 360 or whatever. We're winning when he does less. What do you think?
Thank you for saying that, because it needed to be said. Okay, now here's what I think. Okay, I think the Bears make winning so difficult that it's a wow, holy crap, look at this. It's one of those moments, a surprising moment, a very out there rare event, celestial confluence of whatever has to happen for the Bears to make a rookie quarterback not the focal point of the offense. What do you mean? You mean simplify the things that he has to deal with so that he can focus on what he's doing and focus on the fact that he's playing the game in an efficient and stable manner? Is that not what I literally just said last week we need to do with him to win the games? Is that not what I just said? I don't understand why it's this difficult, right? And no, I do understand. It's because flus, right? And here's the problem with that, right? Because if you're going to take Caleb and you're just going to make him a Justin Herbert, throw it across the yard, who cares if you throw a pick or two, score points? Right. If that's what you want for him, well, you brought him Keenan Allen. You got DJ Moore. You brought him Rome Odunze. You're making DeAndre Carter a focal point of the offense for God knows what reason, while you bench Tyler Scott. This is what you did. You put the formula in. Okay, so if you want to just throw it 50 times a game, try this Kirk O'Bang strategy. Go ahead, do that, and then he will be the person who, he will be fearless. He will always know what windows that he wants to try to fit it in. He'll learn a lot, right? But he's never going to be that guy that, when the game is on the line and when it matters and whatever, you can really, really trust him to pull through. Okay, the opposite strategy being, okay, well, we're just going to have him do, baby steps. We're just going to feed him little tiny chunks of the offense, little tiny chunks of reading the defense, setting his protection, let him just slowly build and grow. And then you can trust him because he's going to learn every step of the process of being a quarterback the right way, right? So he will know. And then that's something that Flus, I don't think he gets. I don't think he really understands the mindset of an offensive player. I really don't think he gets it because he's shown he's unable to teach that. He's shown it already. So, at what point do you look up and say, okay, well, everybody, we put all these babies in the same bathwater and they all come out looking the same color. It's some different with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I like that they
get that. Die in the bathwater.
Right. Something like that, some lead, something. But I'm just saying, the more we have to go through the same steps and the same growing pains to get to the same results, it really just makes me question our process as an organization, from our coaches and from our GM. That's really what it comes down to. So,
and honestly, I think that
week 4, sorry to interrupt, but thankfully they figured it out in week 4. But let's see if they can keep on with that strategy and just slowly add to his plate as he proves that he's got what you've already put on it.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that our first play was a successful run to Swift. You had to get him going. You can't spend that much, say it's a feature back, and then do it. I still argue with football, quote unquote, experts, people that I respect, that really do have football history, football legacy, football knowledge. But everybody's like, yeah, backs like Henry, they're history. Hey, they put that ball in Henry's hand. 12 seconds later, he had 80 whatever yards.
In Baltimore Ravens rushing.
Yeah. And then, I wanted Henry for the Bears. Not that he was willing to come here, but I was like, dude, if you put Henry in the backfield, we're monsters.
We're a different team. I agree.
Yeah.
But Henry's not look, Ryan Poles is 100% building this team in Brett Veach's image. He's gone and built the offensive line the way that Brett Veach has built his offensive line, with late round picks and flyer selections and hoping that these guys turn into all pros. He's built his wide receiver room the same way, with, speed everywhere. Maybe one guy who's like a possession guy, but as much speed as possible on the field. By the way, Rome looking fast. Rome is looking fast.
Rome look good.
Rome is looking fast. Like faster than Brand at the combine for sure. He's fast in pads.
And he's a big boy.
And then go get a quarterback that's the most similar quarterback to Mahomes that we've seen in the last half decade. So, he's building it in the Kansas City Chiefs likeness, right? That's how he's built this team.
Not a bad idea.
If you can get those pieces, because otherwise we're just the Team U brand Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm not sure if that's what I want to be. I would rather be the Burberry brand or whatever Tom Ford brand Bears than the Team U brand Chiefs. So if you could do it, cool. If it works, cool. But I see that's where we're trying to get. The one question I have is, then why didn't you go get a coach that was like Andy Reid? If that's what you're trying to accomplish, why are you doing this and then crippling us on the other side by getting us a coach that's not even close to the level of coach that Reid is? Unless you think that in 20 years, Eberflus is going to be that and you're just going to be there sticking with him the whole way. I highly doubt that. And that would be a wild decision.
Well, when you look at it, a coach like Reid, remember who Reid was. Reid went to the NFC Championship, 4 or 5 times in a row with Donovan McNabb, went to the Super Bowl and once and lost. And then they were like, that's enough. You're not going to get it done, right? And you know what? To his benefit, he got fired.
Well, he stuck around for a while. Then he McNabb moved on when he retired or whatever. Then he had Michael Vick. And then after that, I think that's when he left. I have to look, but it was a long time he was coaching.
Point being, he was knocking on the door for a while.
From early on in his career, too. Like, there was no point where he was like, oh, man, yeah, well, I got the wrong guy. Let me switch it up.
He was definitely, without question, knocking on the door. So you get a guy that's knocking on the door. He's letting you know something. He's building something consistently. We're going out and we're getting first-time coaches.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you have. And, honestly, the guys that hired Andy Reid the first time were like, wow, he's the greatest coach ever, or he's got Patrick Mahomes. No. And he had some great quarterbacks, But you know what I'm saying? So it's not the same thing. Maybe we're going to replace Flus with a guy like that, but I don't even know who is that nowadays. Who's knocking on the door but just can't seem to break through year after year.
And maybe that's one that's up there. But let's talk about this next coming week. Let's talk about the Panthers real quick.
Oh, before we can't move on yet, we have left off, to me, the hero of the game. Tory Taylor was a monster. You're standing, you're on what, your 27-yard line. You're standing, on the 15 or something, or the 20. You boot, and the ball lands on the other 10.
Mm-hmm.
You kick a ball so hard and so high, it drops inside the 10, and your guys catch it because you don't outkick the coverage, but you kick it 51. And the guy's standing there waiting on the ball to come down. And you're talking about putting these guys in such a bad field position that, lo and behold, a little bit of pressure from the up front and we can produce it. And Brisker takes a pick and game's over. Tory Taylor was man of the hour. He this is old school Bears. We never had a punter this great, but we had some good punters. And, Kevin.
Yeah, Brad Maynard.
We had some good punters. But, when you look at these things, man, it's like, come on, this game I looked at, that guy was worth a 4th-round pick. He's changing the game and forcing the other team to look at Sweat and this defense. Austin Booker looked fantastic. He was all over the place. Looking at these guys, you mentioned a bunch of the guys are doing fantastically, not to mention our linebacker core. You're looking at this defense. Nobody got 100 yards. Everybody's 2 digits, right? You're looking at this and Stafford's well under 300. He's low 200s. So you're looking at this defense that's really, really, really getting it done. And you get a punter that consistently puts people at their 10-yard line, 90-yard field against our defense. That's not even fair. Now we can move.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. And I, respect to Tory Taylor. He was named Special Teams Player of the Week, which he richly deserves for that performance. He really helped seal the deal. He iced the game 100%. So it was really great to see the Rook, the crocodile punter out here doing his thing. We love him for that. Let's start with the Panthers real quick. As much as I want to say we got to win this game, we hold their second round pick. We got to beat them. We got to show that we are better than the worst team in football right now. However, that's not on Caleb. That's on Flus, right? If we're not in a position to beat the worst team in football without Caleb contributing more than just complete some passes, continue some drives, kick field goals, score a touchdown or two. If we can do that with Caleb and just not ask a lot of him, and our defense and our running game and our offensive line and our receivers and our tight ends, and our special teams, if these guys can't collectively beat the Panthers, beat the worst team in the league, we're not a playoff team. We're not a playoff team. Either that or we don't have playoff coaches. That's what it's down to.
And that's part of being a playoff team. Your coaching is part of being a playoff team. They're developing the schemes. They're calling the plays. They're putting guys in a position to win and be better, or they're not. And they're putting people in a position to not do well.
It's chess. You know this. Like you could have your queen, all your power pieces, 2 rooks, 2 bishops, 2 knights, and most of your pawns. And somebody who's better than you could have, a bishop, a knight, and 3 pawns and a king, and they'll beat you.
Spank you. They'll spank you.
You're wondering what happened to all my great pieces, right? So football is the great team sport. It's the most strategic of every physical, fast-paced sport there is. And if you don't have that strategy right, it don't matter how many good pieces you got. And that's really what it's going to come down to with this Panthers game.
Well, I think one of these things, we need a statement game. First of all, now that we can run the ball and Tory Taylor's going crazy kicking, we need part of a statement game is to let the defense get a break. They should have a game where the offense is driving the ball and it's not wearing them out, where it's literally where they don't have to work hard.
Yeah, but if we can't do that with a defensive front on the Panthers that traded Brian Burns to New York, that Derek Brown got injured for the season, so their best 2 defensive linemen don't exist. And their best linebacker went to Washington. Their best safety went to somewhere else. I forget where he went. The only thing, their best defensive player is a cornerback who he's kind of mid. So they got one good cornerback and really nobody else. That's really be like, man, we really got to account for this guy. We really got to account for this safety, whatever. They got one guy on the team and it's a corner. If we can't run on them, that's a huge problem. That's the reddest of flags. That's like 1,000 red flags in Tiananmen Square in 1970. That's as red as it gets, man.
Yeah, you know what? I'm agreeing with you, but also we need a statement game as a team. So, I want to see a shutout by the defense. I don't know if this is the week, but I want to see a shutout by the defense. I want to see the offense wipe somebody. I want to see a ridiculous offensive output. I'm not telling you that means Caleb throws for 400. To me, a ridiculous offensive output, we get 3 touchdowns on the ground and 2 in the air.
I don't even need that much. I don't even need that much. Give me one touchdown from Caleb on the ground or in the air. Don't care how it comes, and 40% first down conversion rate. If he can give us that,
did you say 40?
40%. That's like slightly above league average is like 38. You give us above average third down conversion rate. You keep drives moving. And you put us in a position where we can lean on our run game, where we can give our defense some rest, where we can pin them deep with good field position when we do have our drive stall. That's all I need from you, Caleb. I don't need you to go out here and be Superman. I don't want you to start learning how to be Superman. I want you to learn how to be a regular quarterback first.
Well, I'm not asking a lot for. I think 200 yards in that scenario from Caleb is. I just want to see it be an effective 200. I want to see us run for 200. I want Roshan and Swift to have 100 apiece. And here's what I want to see. I want us to patent the fridge play, whereas just like the Eagles did for years, where you knew what was going to happen on short yardage, it was the tush push, and you knew you couldn't stop it. And And nobody stops it.
Right now, the Ravens got Patrick Ricard, who's basically the same thing. He's just a slightly faster and more athletic than average 300-pound guy who runs in front of their running backs and blows people the heck up.
And sometimes that running back is Derrick Henry.
So, yeah, now it is. So
good luck.
If we turn Kramer into that, and then occasionally, if we really need to, he can pinch in and swap in at center. Come on, man.
Right. I mean, you get or really get nuts when when Blasingame is back. You hand Blasingame the ball behind Kramer. But I'm cool with Roschon being the guy in this role. We need to establish in the league, man. If it's third and less than 2, not only are we going to have a 99% success rate, but we're going to tell you exactly how we're going to do it. We're coming. Kramer's coming. Your whole team better get you better put 8 defensive linemen out there because we're going to roll you.
Yeah.
Because we're coming. We're going to go with 3 tight ends and Kramer and Roschon, and we're going to blow you away.
A linebacker that a 300-pound man is going to run into your face.
Full speed.
300-pound man is going to get a running start and hit you in the face. And you better be ready for it.
You better be ready because here comes a 300-pound man running full speed at you with his head down. Low.
Right. So let's talk picks. Do you think the Bears are going to win, and what score do you predict?
They better win. It's not a should. Can they win? They can and they should. I'm not afraid of Andy Dalton. And after we tossed him out, we better not go, oh, Andy Dalton's so great. Sack him. Put him on his back. He'll look just like he did in a Bears uniform.
So score.
2. So I'm gonna be aggressive. I'm gonna say we hold the Panthers to single digits, 9 or less, and we beat them we double them up. So call it 18-9 or 21-9, something like that. That's what I'm calling.
I'm gonna go more aggressive. I'm gonna say 30-9 behind 3 rushing touchdowns and maybe a defensive touchdown because that slow mo of Andy Dalton on the Saints, where the dude is like diving, into the end zone behind him, and Andy Dalton's turning around like, "Drat, I threw a pick." I want one of those. I want one of those in a Bears uniform, so I can put that in the intro.
And I want to see 4 Kramer sightings.
I want to see 4 Kramer.
I want to see 4 Kramer sightings. I want teams.
That's one last note. That's one thing Getsy refused to do. Right when he has something that worked, he never went back to it. He never went like, "Oh, let's go back and like see how we can make people think. Okay, this is what we did last time. Now let's go do something and build up." He never did that. Never.
You're right.
Now Kramer being a fullback is a very simple concept, and I love Blasingame. Don't get me wrong. Bring
Blasingame's my guy. He's one of the best in business.
Have us put this man on the field, man, because I'm tired of not seeing him. But put Kramer in there for these short yardage situations.
Yeah,
he's not
anything under 2 yards.
He's not there to catch footballs. He's not there to be a 4th option in the passing game or.
He's not trying to get to the edge and block. Right.
You don't need to do that. He's here to hit a linebacker so hard that he rethinks his career choice. That's what he's there for.
Exactly. So wait. In honor of the beard, we'll call Kramer Moses because he's going to part that Red Sea.
You need to part the Red Sea or the Blue Sea, whatever color it happens to be that week. Whatever color the sea is. You need to be out there hitting people in the face so hard that the water parts. So I think 30-9, that's my prediction.
I want us to use Kramer so often in short yardage that the league makes a rule about it. Hey, well, this is dangerous.
I don't think you can. I don't think there's anything they can say about that.
You can't put a 300-pound man and let him run. It'll be illegal smashing of defenders.
It's gonna have to be another DeMar Hamlin situation before they make that rule, man. Like, it's gonna have to be ugly before they do that.
Man, I want us to, like you said, I want us to go back to this just like the Eagles used it. I mean, the Eagles pushed their way to the Super Bowl.
They did.
Now, how many times they got stopped on 3rd down and they went, man, no, it's 3rd and 1.5. We're going to push it. And you can't do it on 4th. Nobody could stop it.
Mm-hmm.
This is that type of play. Nobody stopping. Crazy enough, our offensive line, our tight ends plus Kramer, you can't stop it. You can't. It's just, Cole's a big boy. Mercedes is a big boy. Kramer, you get out there,
we should have power on people. We should be able to just body them.
Bowl.
So
Bowl.
what happens?
Yeah.
See what happens.
I'm excited. I love that. You know, I love that. I love Smash Mouth. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah. So yeah. So I agree. And you know what? We'll speak up for nephew. He predicts the Bears win.
Oh yeah. He predicts 60-1. That's what he thinks the score is going to be. 60-1. He thinks they're going to get half a safety, if that, and like somehow it'll, you know,
they'll call a penalty and give them an extra point.
They'll kick. What'll happen is they'll kick the opening kickoff through the uprights like Canadian football, and they'll feel so bad for him they just give them the points.
Give them a point. Give them a one.
How they'll get their one. That's Nephew's prediction for this week.
Well, I'm Uncle.
I'm Son.
And again, we're still trying to hunt down nephew, and we are talking Bears. Bear down.
Bear down. Bear down always.